Okay, Fatima, let's see how you've done here. Alright, sorry, I just have to annotate here. Okay, so you start off with a title, thank you. You need to indent your paragraph a little bit more here, so just a technical thing, but you need to leave more space at the beginning of the paragraph. You've done a little bit, but you need to leave about 4 lines so that it's more dramatic. I can see where the paragraphs begin and end. Okay. There is a range of clinical states between health and illness that we as normal people usually do not see. Okay, you don't need them. Alright. Yeah, so we do not see. Okay, that's good. These states were divided into 6 main groups in the form of an iceberg. This iceberg is called the clinical iceberg. Okay, so you've described the iceberg. That's good. In the base of the clinical iceberg, we can see the healthy or normal state that is included in the largest number of people. And it includes the largest number of people. Okay, the next group contains people who have characteristics such as being overweight or perform some. Okay, we don't perform a bad behavior. It's just not. It's grammatically correct, but we just wouldn't say that. That's a little bit awkward. We'd say. Have some bad behaviors, or participate in bad behaviors, something like that, like smoking, for example, but will apparently be normal. Okay, that's good. This group is a bit smaller than the previous one, but is still considered as a significant group. Another group that have no apparent signs or any disease currently, but they've been already in some precursor morbid state. Okay, I think you have a little bit of a grammar mistake here. It's a tense. Have been already? I think you want to say they currently, because you said the disease currently, but they maybe already have or are already in a precursor state. Yeah, you're using the wrong tense here. The thermal that may lead to atherosclerosis is an example of this. Okay, we don't say the. We don't use the article the before a disease name, yeah? So we'll get rid of that, okay? The next group contains people with the preclinical disease. Okay, so that's a little awkward. That we usually just say are in a preclinical state, not necessarily a disease. So they may not yet have any symptoms, but they are shown to have this spelling mistake here, signs of a disease after examining them by a physician. The next part is the observed part of the iceberg. Okay, so observed part, that's good that you're saying it's the part that we can see, but observed is a little bit misleading. What you want to say is the next part is the part that we can see. And I think you want to start off with a new paragraph here. These people have obvious signs and symptoms of the disease, so they present themselves for treatment at a clinic or hospital. Finally, there's a tip of the iceberg that shows the last group who are reach advanced stages of the disease and they're about to die. Okay, so this is good. Again, you've described all the parts of the iceberg. Your writing's quite good. There's very few mistakes, really. But I would say that the mistake really that you're making is that you're not really describing the iceberg. You're describing the general idea of the iceberg, but not, the whole idea that we can see people at a certain stage. And also, the other problem is that you're not explaining this to medical students. You haven't mentioned medical students anywhere in here. So this is what I was talking to you about in class. So there's 2 parts of the task that you're missing out on. The overview of the clinical iceberg and why we need it and why we're using it and why, you're talking about it, really. So you're missing that part of it, but your writing's quite good, so you would have done quite well on this writing, but you would have missed some marks for task for sure. Good job. Let's see how you do in the next one.